Hi, and welcome back to the podcast. So in this episode, I'll be talking with Jaime Filer. She can be found on Instagram. She's a fitness coach, but also teach about the mental role in the fitness industry and how we as persons can develop our confidence, become more confident in ourselves, and just also as person and also for all of those struggling in the LGBTQ plus community. She helps people around here a lot, and in this episode or in this conversation with Jaime, we talk a lot about reading books and how she have dealt with different stuff, anxiety and eating disorder and traveling. Getting to know her sexuality or just navigating sexuality. So I really hope that you enjoy this episode and enjoy this conversation with Jaime. You can go and follow her on Instagram if you'd like to do that. She posts a lot of helpful advice on there and inspirational things, and she's just an awesome and inspired person who dared to be herself and her authentic self. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation, and you can also share it on your socials and find this podcast on social media there too. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Hi. Okay. Yeah. Well, welcome to the podcast, Jaime Filer, to the Dare2 podcast first episode. I am really excited about it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for accommodating our different time zones.
Yeah, that's I think it's really admiring how we can speak to each other in these ways and be able to do things like this. So I'm really happy about that.
Me too.
Even though it can cause some trouble sometimes.
That's okay. Everything is figure outable. It's all good.
Exactly. So I wanted to start out with a little introduction about you, and then I thought that maybe you would like to do one as well, but just by yourself, who you are, what you do.
Of course.
And then we can go to the questions. Yeah.
Okay. I would love that. That sounds perfect to me.
Nice. So Jaime Filer, you are an online coach on Instagram, and lately you have also called yourself like an influencer, because you do influence a lot of people and help a lot of people. So I think that fits really great. With over 100,000 followers, coaching in mindset and fitness development, you are a personal trainer, and you're helping LGBTQ plus with anxiety and improving their confidence through fitness. And then you also won the Woman Physique at OCB Tampa. Is that the right name for it?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, and then you're a first form athlete, and you are 33 or 30?
34.
34, okay. Great. Okay. You identify as she, her, and gay, and you moved from Toronto in Ontario, Canada, to Clearwater, FL, in USA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to actually start out with this quote, because it was one of the first things that I stumbled on when I found you on Instagram back in around 2019, because I was dealing with a lot of things by myself, and it was also just following up to the pandemic and COVID, which has just began to hit some places. So it was hard to find out how to deal with stuff because you were on your own. In another way, I would say, the quote that I found is this one, that when you can't control what's happening, challenge yourself to control the way you respond to what's happening. that's where your power is. And I thought that was very important and inspiring, and I've been using that just since that. Would you like to tell something about that quote and how you have used it eventually?
Sure. Yeah.
And sorry,
So
sorry, I actually forgot your introduction. If you wanted to do that first.
Oh my God, you absolutely nailed it. I wasn't even going to include how old I was, but you you put me on the spot. So no, everything you said, there's really nothing I could add. You hit my audience, you hit my platforms, you hit my career and my passion. Everything is great. No worries about the introduction. Regarding that quote, I believe it is a concept that I first learned from Viktor Frankl in his book, Man's Search for Meaning. And he essentially, the whole book is about how life isn't about what happens to you, it's about how you respond to it. And this is coming from a Holocaust survivor. So when he isn't angry at the world or the cards he was dealt, and when he hasn't come out of it with any sort of depression or anxiety or, again, hatred in his heart, then how can the rest of us justify our, what's a word for it? Our own anger, our own anxiety, our own feelings of helplessness. He said, there is one freedom that you cannot take away from a man, and that is his ability to react to something.
Yes.
So essentially what he was saying was like, the Nazis they did steal every single one of his freedoms, but he chose to keep hope because that was the one thing they couldn't take from him. So obviously I try to instill that in my clients and my followers and say a whole bunch of bad, awful, negative, crappy things are going to happen to you over the course of your life, but it will always be your choice how you respond to them.
Exactly. You mentioned also hope. That's one of the things I think that also, like when you believe that there's hope for like better things, and you know that, okay, if I do this and do this, that is in my power, then I will be able to move forward in some way, and then take one day at a time also. I think that's really great quote and story behind that. Now you actually just mentioned this book also, and that was one of the things that I remember also you should share a lot of, or not a lot, but some books in this time where you like took some other quotes and things you like, just like you sometimes do take something out and then you talk on your story about it. And what books have made, can you say some books that have made the biggest difference for you, or is it like too complicated? Or
no, of course. So I would say, I mean, I get everything out of every book I read. I've never regretted reading a book. One of them was The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. It's like over 700 pages, over 30 chapters. But is absolutely incredible. And it's essentially just rules for life, everything from business to relationships to spirituality. He covers everything. The next one was, it's called Unlearn by Humble the Poet. And it is also about 100 chapters, but each chapter is 2 pages. And it's a profound quote followed by how you can apply it to the rest of your life. And from him, I learned mostly about expectations and detachment, and how really all we can do in this life is be present, because nothing belongs to us. No people, no monetary things, nothing we own. We don't own anything, right? Not even obviously our relationships.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the last one is The Subtle Art of Not Giving by Mark Manson. And that's the one that told me to just let it go. Let it go. Very few things are actually worth getting angry over, getting upset over, giving a shit over. So just let it go.
Yeah, that has definitely been one of the books for me too. I haven't read the other two, but I would love to. But
Oh,
yeah, reading the last one there, it made a lot of sense for me. And after that, a lot of things like I've been worrying about like doing some posts on Instagram, and because what will other people think, and like classmates and just people in my family, seem something they don't used to see people
yeah.
post or something like that. And after I read that, I was just like if not now, then when?
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, that has really taught me a lot also. So when did you come into like the world of mental health, if we could say it like that, and yeah, reading books about things like this?
Sure. It was, I mean, relative to how old I am, it was pretty recent. I would say it was around 2017, 2018, and that was for sure the peak of my anxiety. I had a lot going on. I was in charge of a bodybuilding magazine in Canada, one of the biggest. I was the editor-in-chief of a massive bodybuilding magazine, huge production.
Yeah.
But I had also just met a girl on Instagram who lived in Florida, and I was trying to figure out how to navigate that relationship long distance. So I ended up visiting her, falling in love. And from there on, it kind of spiraled, not in a bad way, but I had to figure out how to quit my job, get a visa, get a green card, get married, get another job, all in the span of a year. Any one of those things would have been a very big deal on its own, right? Some people need like 4 months just to figure out what to do once they've quit their job. And I didn't have any time to figure it out. So clearly there was a lot of anxiety, but the last thing I wanted to do was bring all of that negative energy into a new marriage, right? That's not how I wanted to start my life with Katie. So I had to figure my stuff out very quickly, not just from a practical component in terms of how was I going to bring money in for rent and food and travel.
Of course.
How was I going to manage my anxiety so I didn't put it all on her? And that's when I started reading more, listening to podcasts more, audiobooks, essentially consuming as much as I could about self-development as possible.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Also, like just the time that you had to like deal with all this stuff, that's really when we realized that we have to find some way to learn or to get some space in our head in some way. Then you also mentioned just now that that you've been you said that you had been a writer for this magazine, fitness magazine, or what? Just exactly.
Yes. So I was the editor-in-chief of it's called Muscle Insider, and it was at the time Canada's biggest bodybuilding magazine.
Oh, okay. That's right. So I also wanted to ask you about when did you do your first competition and like getting into fitness?
I did my first competition, I believe, in 2004. I think I was 17 years old, 17 or 18, and I competed in a bodybuilding show. I think I did 8 in 2 years. And then I competed in 2004, 2005. Then I took a break. I got healthy. I put on a lot of weight in a good way. And then I competed in 2008, 2012, 2016, and then most recently in 2021.
Okay. Yeah. You mentioned now this, I wanted to get into also the eating disorder that you began to have, when you started fitness, as you say, you then afterwards started to put on some weight in a healthy way. But would you like to, can you tell us some about that journey and the experience you have with that?
Yeah, sure. So I started my first diet when I was 11, and it was essentially just, I didn't understand calorie counting. I didn't even know what a calorie was, but I just started to eat less, I guess. But by 15, I definitely understood what calories were, and I reduced them considerably. I was also doing anywhere from 2 to 3 hours of exercise per day. Most of it my parents didn't know about because I would legitimately skip classes in order to go to the community center to get more cardio, more swimming, more weight training in. So I was hospitalized for the first time at 15. I was an inpatient for 40 days, immediately followed by being an outpatient for 2 months. So the summer in between 11th grade and 12th grade, I was in the hospital, and I was also in the hospital for my last month of 11th grade. And then in 12th grade, I was in the hospital for 2 days for kidney dialysis because I had essentially shut my body down.
Yeah, okay.
And that was also when I decided to take up bodybuilding for the first time, because a huge part of having an eating disorder is body dysmorphia. So in my head, although I was 95 pounds, I was also 5% body fat, which I thought was acceptable for a bodybuilder. Yeah. And it is, but you have to be like 150 pounds and 5% body fat. So it, granted, I admit it that fitness definitely gave me an eating disorder, or rather my eating disorder was fueled by fitness. But also, if it wasn't for my love of weight training, I don't know that I would have recovered as quickly.
Oh, so it was actually yourself that, well, when did your parents find out actually? Like when did you,
I think they knew almost immediately, because I was 11, I was 12, and I was coming home with the same lunch they sent me to school with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think they suspected something, but it was only when I was in my 15, 16 years and I was like starting to fall apart medically, they realized there was a problem, and obviously put me into the hospital for good reason.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely, that's hard. But also I just want to because when I know a lot of people, or not a lot, but I just think when talking about body dysmorphia, it is something I have to struggle with myself, and it is something that I know people, just like on my gymnasium, which is high school in the US, that I know people struggle with. What are things that you say to your people that you are coaching for help to build this?
So that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can imagine, often my first question is, do you have a therapist? And I don't say that in a condescending way, but in a perfect world, every therapist has my phone number. That's the truth, because I would love to refer. I mean, if it was less expensive in America, I would love to refer every single one of my clients to a therapist. And I would love to have every single therapist in America have a personal trainer on call, because mental and physical health are like this. They're so intertwined. So my first piece of advice for people who struggle is get a therapist, maybe who specializes A, in the LGBTQ community, and B, with eating disorders or disordered eating patterns. My next piece of advice is take a step back from the mirror, take a step back from the scale, and perhaps put more focus and emphasis on how your body performs, right? Like right now, I'm in this stage where I'm about 12 pounds over where I competed in November. So obviously I have some feelings about it. But when I think about how much better at CrossFit I am right now, how much stronger, how much faster, how much more energy I have, I'm like, let's gain 14, let's go 15, right? Like So I step back from the mirror, I step back from the scale, and I'm like, no, you know what? I'm strong as an ox and I love it and I'm fast. And that's what I'm going to focus on.
Yeah. Okay. So step back from the scale and the
Yeah.
mirror, and be focused on that what your body
Yep.
can, and all the energy
That's
that
it.
you actually have. Be grateful for that and love your body and yourself. I
Yeah.
think it's also, yeah, as you mentioned, because it's these two things entwined. It's also about self-love.
Oh my gosh, of course.
Yeah. So yeah, that's great advice, and something I think that's very important. And let's see. So now you came into a little bit about when meeting Katie, meeting
Yes.
a girl for the first time, and finding out that you're into girls. Later in life, maybe than others might find out, and yeah. Do you want to tell the story about that? I've heard a little bit on it on another podcast also, but yeah, like
So I did come out later in life. I was 26 years old. So again, it's relatively recently. Katie is not my first girlfriend, just my first wife.
oh, yeah,
And it came, so what had happened was I was engaged to a man for about a year and a half, and it was a guy that I had been dating on and off for 5 years, and he was absolutely incredible. He was my best friend. He was, I adored him. I loved him. We had great rapport, but there was something missing.
yeah,
And I realized that I couldn't go through with the marriage, A, not knowing what it was, and
oh,
B, because I loved him so much, I would never do that to him.
mm,
Right. Cause
oh,
I knew that I couldn't go all in.
yeah,
About a week after I broke up with him, I was talking to my massage therapist, and I was complaining and crying and all of the above. And she said, do you want to go out for coffee and talk about it?
yeah,
And I knew she was gay. And I said, do you want to take me out on a date? She was like,
mhm,
I didn't know you were gay. And I said, listen, I don't know if I'm gay, but I'm willing to try anything. I just broke up with my fiance. I don't care.
yeah,
Well, it turns out that I definitely prefer women.
yeah. So was when like going from a man to a girl, how was that experience? I remember you also mentioned having like this guilt for just leaving this man.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah. So it was not, I mean, I knew that I broke his heart. There's no
Mhm.
way around that. And
Yeah,
I'm regretful and remorseful. However, thank
yeah,
God he has met the love of his life. He is married. He has 2 daughters. He is definitely happier and more fulfilled without me. So the guilt was there at the beginning. It is
yeah,
no longer there. We are both in much better places. But what I realized now that I had with my first girlfriend, and that a man could essentially not provide, is this perfect combination of best friend,
yeah,
significant other, and lover.
yeah,
There's a triangle, right? And
mm,
some days you need a little bit more,
yeah,
but what I was missing from my ex-fiance was the lover part, because the
yeah,
physical just wasn't there.
no,
So I'm super grateful for, I guess, for him, that I learned that about myself, but also my relationship with women just has another element to it
mm,
that I didn't have with guys.
yeah. So what would you like say to others, like, because I know there are some others who, or a lot of others who like know that there might be something else, but they're still in a relationship, and it could be
Yeah.
like from anywhere to anyone. And yeah, what would you advise
I
people?
would say do it anyway, because
Yeah,
your happiness might be on the other side of that scary decision.
yeah,
And whatever effect it might have on the people around you at first, as soon as they see you in your element and truly happy and passionate with somebody else who brings a light to your eyes, everything, nothing will matter anymore. If they truly care about you, nothing will matter to them anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. So what if this is like a what if, but I would like to ask you anyway, but if you're not sure if it's the right thing, so there could be like you know it, but there could also like be the path that there might be something but you're not sure, and what if it really doesn't work out, and what happens, and then you stand there and like you just left someone and you thought that this was the right decision but it wasn't, maybe, or like it can.
I would say have you never made a mistake before? You know, that's what it comes down to, right? You went left, you hit a dead end, go right. What's the worst that could happen, right? That was my attitude when I dated my first girlfriend. It was essentially, what the hell? I have nothing to lose. Like, I literally have broken somebody's heart. I've realized that maybe I don't like guys. I don't know what else is out there, but I'm going to give it a solid effort either way.
So it's really important to have like, just yourself and your heart with it.
An open mind, open mind.
Yeah, that's right. Really important. So you also talked about like telling it to your family and friends, and you actually had it quite easy with that. You didn't have any problem. How was it with that? And I know that there's of course a lot of people that still struggle with coming out, and how's your look on this, your experience with that, and what will you
So yes, you're right. And I never tell the story any other way, in that I did have it easy. My dad passed away before I came out, but my mom was exceptionally supportive. I mean, I still think there's like a small part of her that wishes I married like a nice Jewish boy who is a doctor or a lawyer, but no, she has received all of my girlfriends quite welcomingly. She absolutely adores Katie. My siblings, I mean, my brother stopped talking to me for a period of time because I didn't invite him to my wedding. Like he was so excited, but it was very small and it happened quickly and blah, blah, blah. But so honestly, every single one of my family and friends were like, hell yeah, whatever makes you happy, let's go. In terms of people who don't have it like that, which I know it might be the majority. All I can say is that, again, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but if they really love you and support you, then the only thing that matters will be your happiness. Right. And I'm not going to say your mom is a bad mom if she doesn't accept you, or your dad is a bad dad. No. That's not how they grew up. They might not understand it, right? Trans, gay, doesn't matter. It just might not compute with them, but you owe it to yourself and to them to tell them anyway. Otherwise, you will be living inauthentically with a chip on your shoulder. You will be living in the closet quietly and not as the full expression of yourself, which is actually no way to live at all.
And you said you said like we repeat it, but I also think it's so important, because sometimes it's like, we think, I used so much time like repeating these things, but I think like so many people have like hard doing this, so it's like just hearing these things again and again. I think that's definitely helps people like getting more brave in their choice and daring to do things, and to be themselves and express themselves in the way that they are, and have the courage to
I was just gonna say courage. Yep.
Okay. So that's that's important, but we can also sometimes think it can be so exhausting, because it's like, yeah, we grew up in a world where all of these things had a different like look on these things, and yeah, now we have come to the world like we have to change all of these looks, because just having more open-minded and not put people into boxes like that. Because it's just, because people are used to not using so much energy on, okay, well, then this girl, she just doesn't fit into this box, then how am I going to navigate after that? If that makes sense.
Of course, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So so being a coach and personal trainer on Instagram, how do you like how do you see in helping people that, like, how many of the people you help is like from the LGBTQ plus community?
Like 9 out of 10 of my clients are from the LGBTQ plus community. They're either trans men or gay females.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it also makes it a lot like easier for them to search for some help, and they know the person that they are being coached by
like understands them.
Understands them exactly. So besides from Instagram, you just recently started your YouTube channel with Katie, and how has that been?
It's been fun. Honestly, anything I can do with Katie makes everything so much more fun. You know, I was thinking about doing a vlog when I started my bodybuilding prep in the summer of 2021. And I said, why would I get it. It's me. But at a certain point, how much of me can you take? I have a podcast, I have a TikTok, I have an Instagram, I have a Facebook page, right? Like, I'm so sick of me. Let's show off my better half, because there's a chance you're going to fall in love with her even more. Also just better as a team. Like, we bounce ideas off each other, and we bounce creativity off each other, and thought-provoking ideas. So it was like a no-brainer to include her in the YouTube channel, which, you know, we had the prep series, we had the off-season series going into this summer. I will have another prep series. So it's so great doing things with my best friend.
And it's really exciting following with you on that, and just getting to know you even more, and getting tips and about stuff, and getting back into the USA in another way, now that we haven't been able to travel there.
Right.
I think that's really great. Also, it's like really nice to be able to look back on experiences and things in your life that you had, and in that way, I guess.
For sure. And also from a technical perspective, we can look back on YouTube videos we made in July of last year and compare them to now, and just hone the skill of video editing. So it just gave us another outlet to practice and utilize another skill.
Great, awesome. So how do you actually like manage to balance job and family time, now that you're like so much putting so much effort into your social media, actually, because you love to help people, I know, but also actually have time for
I think you should ask Katie this question.
I think it's inspiring.
The answer is I don't have balance. There are days where I'm all in with work, and Katie and I will spend maybe 2 hours together in the evening. Obviously, we'll text throughout the day, but she gets 2 hours of my time. Like yesterday, for example, I was working until about 7:30, and then we went to bed at 9:30, and that was it. But then there are days where I will literally schedule a Wednesday off I will not answer a damn thing, and I will spend all day with her. And again, that's not balanced because I'm not focused on work at all. I'm all in with my family. So how do I balance it? I just make sure that like my clients are always taken care of, that I'm present on social media at least 3 to 5 times a day. And then Katie is always my number one priority.
Yeah, that's a really nice way to look at it on also. Definitely. So when like I know that, well, how should I say that? Like other people who have trouble maybe not like then balancing work and time, who might look on in other ways, how would your advice be? Maybe to actually look on it in this way that you do, instead of actually look at it like you have to balance it.
I mean, the number one thing I would suggest to people is to have boundaries, right? Even though there are days I work late,
Definitely.
the phone is still always off at the latest 8 p.m. No clients get my time or attention after 8 p.m. And whether you're an entrepreneur or an employee or a CEO, you absolutely have to keep certain boundaries in place. So no emails or DMs before 7 a.m. and then nothing after 8 p.m. And that's a good place to start. And then eventually maybe start to cut back, right? Like 1 day per week, you're not working at all. Or you take off an entire weekend per month and don't work at all, right? So you can find ways to, like you said, balance without actually balancing.
Yeah, that's quite fun. Okay. Also, that's one thing that I've been really putting into use. It's actually after that I had to schedule my this meeting with you, when I was like, okay, I have to begin and like both put things into calendar, but also this what's it called, like this thing that you can use on your phone to like switch off for things and like say
like locks the app, like it tells you that you
exactly.
I think that's brilliant.
I haven't really like I knew that it had been available for using, but I really not thought about that I could actually use it like for getting to prioritize all things and be more
brilliant.
So we are also almost reached like to the end of the things I wanted to ask you about, but I have like 2 more things if we can reach that.
Yes.
So you have talked about this non-negotiable walk on your Instagram stories.
Yes.
And in the start, I didn't actually know what the word here meant, so I was and searching for it. And then at first, I didn't really know what meaning it had, like in this walk that you had. But then I found out. But would you like to explain?
Yes. So, I mean, it almost ties into that work-life balance that we were talking about before. It speaks to the idea of, for the most part, even as an owner of my own business, all right, I am not always in charge of my schedule, right? Depending on what tier of packages you purchase with me, I have some clients who are allowed to essentially message me whenever they want, and that's their prerogative. So when do I ever get time for Jaime? Right? Okay. 10:30 and 1:30. I step away from everything. I have my phone because typically I make a story about the fact that I have stepped away. But it's 2 times per day that nobody except, well, Fran and Murph and Katie get my attention. It's my time to recharge my batteries, recenter myself, and then go back to work so my clients can get as much of me as possible all over again.
Yeah, that's a really great thing. It's like actually like when we meditate, just walking outside instead.
That's it.
I know you do some meditation also, don't you?
Yeah. Probably not as much as I should, and I will be honest about that. But typically I would say 3 mornings a week I use the Calm app, and I listen to whatever meditation they have for me.
Are you on a membership on it, or do you just use the free?
100%, my friend, 100%. I have purchased the Calm app membership. Yeah, it's.
So you also, I saw you using the J one, the one he has.
The Jay Shetty one. Love that edition.
I haven't. I have tried a little bit yet, but I haven't like bought the membership. Tried to do that. But maybe I should do that once. So as the last thing, you mentioned in one of your videos that you actually do some investing.
Yes.
Like for what's the word even for it in English?
It's real estate investing. We call it.
Real estate. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So
you can
how or why? So I realized, and okay, backtrack. In 2019, I hired a business coach. Right. As soon as I got my green card and I knew that I wanted to become an online personal trainer that affected as many lives as possible, I wanted to learn how to do it. So I hired Matthew Park, and he helped me out considerably. And then, I mean, other than bills, right? Everything I make goes to me. So in order to pay myself, I didn't just want it to keep like sitting under a mattress, as they say. And I knew that the stock market was volatile. And I know that I don't know anything about mutual funds. So I said, you know what? Let me allocate a little bit to the stock market, a little bit to mutual funds, obviously a little bit every year into my retirement, but also why don't we play the real estate game? Because people will always want to buy houses. People will always need to stay in Airbnb.
Yeah, exactly.
This sounds like a more secure investment for me than the stock market. So that's how I got into that.
Okay. Yeah. I began myself also 2 years now ago now. And it's definitely been a good decision to invest in your money that way also.
Oh my gosh, totally.
So I would also recommend people to do that. It also gives you another like a form of freedom, I guess, both later on, and if you decide to like have some out just like 10-50 years forward.
Exactly.
So actually that was the last thing that I had.
Well, your questions were absolutely thought-provoking, well thought out, well executed. I appreciate you having me as a guest on your podcast, and I wish you all the best in the world. And I hope this takes off.
You too also. It's been really great. I'm really thankful for this opportunity getting to talk to you, and I hope that a lot of people will be able to get some tips from this. And of course it's new now, so getting to grow it, and hopefully in years help a lot of people. So thank you for that, Jaime.
The pleasure is mine. Have a beautiful rest of your day or night, and I will speak to you soon.
I really hope that you enjoyed and got a lot of valuable things from the conversation I had with Jaime. Maybe even took some notes. I like to do that myself when I listen to interviews, because I think there can be some good points to have out. And thank you for supporting, and also if you want to leave a comment, I'd love you for doing that. Also you can go and do that on Spotify, even if you haven't listened to it on there. Just as an extra support, you can do that, also just to get it more out, and so that Spotify and YouTube know that they should be recommending it to other people. So thank you for your support, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.